Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we have a collaboration beer, and this one is a really kind of interesting combination of things. So on the home side, this beer is half Greek. And the Greek brewery have featured on the channel before 3 times back in 2018, and I know that this is a very, very good brewery and nice to have them back. The Greek beers in my experience were very, very good actually, so interested to see how the Greek beer scene has progressed. But on the away side, this beer is a combination of Finnish and Estonian, and this is the first time that this brewery is going to feature for you on the channel, but I do have another beer of theirs to review later on. So yeah, for the Greek side of things, we are going to go to Corfu, which is a group of islands off the kind of northwest coast of Greece, if you can describe it like that, and we're returning to Seven Island Brewery, who are very, very good in my experience. But this beer is called Cape Hope. It's a New England double IPA coming in at 8.3% ABV, and this is brewed in collaboration with Sori Brewing, who are based in Tallinn in Estonia, very close to the airport, but the company was founded by Finnish guys. So yeah, really curious to see how this one turns out. As I said, this will be my 4th review featuring Seven Island Brewery here on the channel. I reviewed the Citra Blast and the Regulus back in 2018 when I actually went to Greece. As I said, the Greek beers in my experience are very, very good. It seems to be a bit of an unwritten rule in Europe that when the wine producing countries have a go at beer, it tends to go pretty well, but they've got a very strong beer scene down there these days. I'd love to go back to Greece and see how it's progressed over the last few years. But Sori Brewing are completely new to me. I have heard of these guys before, but I just never managed to get a hold of any other beers, and you will see a dedicated review to them a little bit later on. I did bring a bottle of one of their beers back, and you'll see that review within, you know, a month or so, something like that. So yeah, definitely an interesting one to review this, and I hope that you guys enjoy my take on this one. Nice to have both of these breweries here on the channel again. Quite an unusual combination, Greek and Finnish Estonian, so yeah, let's go for it guys. So as always with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about both the breweries involved here before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery websites, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Seven Island Brewery. We will add more to that in the near future, and you'll also get a link down there to my future reviews that I'll add from Sori Brewing. Hopefully I can add more to that list beyond the one that I already have. There's all the usual social media down there as well. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, province, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Greek beers that I've reviewed for you, and another one for all the Estonian beers. I will think about putting this one into the Finnish list as well, because, you know, Sori Brewing do have quite strong ties to Finland, of course. But yeah, do check out all those playlists, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely, hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Seven Islands Brewery first off then, because these guys are the home brewery. So Seven Islands Brewery, as I've mentioned to you already, are based in Corfu, and they were founded back in 2013 by Lefteris Mezimeris, who is known as Terry. So he started home brewing back in late 2009, and he says that he just loves creating his own beers from scratch and that he's addicted to craft beer. So apparently his favourite styles are imperial stouts and double IPAs, but he does also enjoy some kind of fruity sour beers as well. But the brewery won the best new brewer in the world and also the best brewer in Greece from Rate Beer back in 2017, so they do have a very good pedigree, if you like. And the Citra Blast, which I mentioned earlier, also entered the best 100 beers in the world, and it was for a period of time. I'm not sure if it's still is, but it was rated as the best beer from Greece, and it's a beautiful one. It's a really lovely West Coast type IPA, that, so if you get the chance to try that one, I highly, highly recommend that you do. I really loved reviewing that beer. But for the first while, these guys were a gypsy brewery, but they did have their own brewery in Corfu by the end of 2018, and they've been working there since. Apparently there are plans to kind of expand this further from what I understand, but they've got a good barrel aging program there, so they've been producing quite a few imperial stouts. They were planning to do barley wines as well, but there've been a number of collaboration brews over the last few years as well, because, you know, Seven Island probably are the most well known of the Greek craft breweries throughout Europe these days. I mean, you've got the likes of Septem, you have Solo, you've got a few other ones in there that are really good as well. I was very, very impressed with the Greek craft beers that I tried. But the brewery itself is named after the 7 Ionian islands, which are distinct because they were under Venetian rule rather than Ottoman rule for a very long time. And this means that they developed a little bit of a kind of distinct culture with more Italian influence. I do want to get out to Corfu and have a little look at it actually. I loved, you know, Greece was beautiful actually. The countryside in Greece was amazing. I really want to get back there and just explore the country a little bit more. But yeah, over the last few years, this brewery have become gradually more kind of decorated, winning a number of prizes and things. And as of August 2020, when I'm filming this review for you, these guys have produced 20 different beers. There's quite a few Imperial Stouts in there, there's more IPAs as well, and there's a few other kind of styles dotted in with that as well. But yeah, in my experience, Seven Island Brewery, very, very nice. I'm actually friends with Terry from the brewery on Facebook. You know, after I did the first reviews, he was like so happy basically. He added me as a friend and things like that, and yeah, hopefully I can catch up with him at either the Mikkeller Festival or the hopefully I can catch up with him at the Mikkeller Festival or maybe at Brewskival or something like that sometime soon. But I'd love to have Terry for one of the Meet the Brewery segments. That would be awesome actually, if I could get down to Corfu and meet up with him in one of the brewery things. You know, I love doing these Meet the Brewery segments for the videos, but yeah, Terry would be an awesome addition, you know, one of the really well-known Greek craft breweries. So we need to see about that in the future. As I say, I do want to go back to Greece and explore it a little bit more, and Corfu is somewhere that I really would like to go. But yeah, that's all I can really tell you about Seven Island Brewery for the moment. If you want to learn a little bit more, you can check out the brewery website in the video description below. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on, and of course you can check out the Rate Beer, Untappd and Beer Advocate pages to learn more about all the different beers that these guys have done. So yeah, let's go on to the away side then, on to the Finnish Estonian side of things. So yeah, Sori Brewing, as I mentioned to you earlier, are based in Tallinn, and these guys were founded back in 2013 by Piri, who is also known as Patrick Hurula, Heike Uotila and Sami Heino, if I'm pronouncing those names properly. Probably not, because Finnish is a very, very difficult language. But all of these guys are from Finland, and the brewery are based in Estonia because of the bureaucracy that was involved in establishing a brewery in Finland at the time. So Heike comes from a background in online retail and marketing. Piri is an entrepreneur, and he's worked in finance and also the paper industry, but he runs his own marketing business too, from what I understand, while Samu studied microbiology and he was involved in the brewing side of things. So the three apparently met at an academic beer society in Finland called BOSA, and they decided to start their own brewery because they felt that, you know, Finland was really lacking in good craft beer at the time. So early on, Sami decided to move on and he went to work in the lab for Pohjola. But now Heike and Piri are the main men running the company. So in the early days they managed to raise 500,000 euros from crowdfunding. They managed to do this without a platform, which was pretty impressive, and I think they borrowed another kind of sum of money. I think they started the brewery off with about €1 million of investment, but they also managed to get a €100,000 grant from Business Finland as well, which was pretty interesting. I think they were one of only a couple of hundred companies to get the full amount. But the brewery itself is based in an old Soviet-era factory very close to Tallinn Airport, and apparently this was a restricted industrial complex at one point called Dvigatel, if I remember the name rightly. But the current head brewer is Timion McDowell, and as of August 2020, when I am producing this review for you, these guys have produced over 100 different beers. I think the exact number was 104 when I checked it out on Untappd. So yeah, pretty cool actually. But like I said, these guys have a very, very good reputation. They also have tap rooms over in Finland as well. I think there's one in Helsinki and also one in Tampere as well, if I'm remembering right. But yeah, this is a brewery that were very, very cool. When I actually landed in Tallinn, I walked to the brewery from the airport because it was so close, and I have to say these guys were pretty cool. For some reason, the brewery was supposed to be open and the shop was supposed to be open, but it was closed. So I wrote to them on Facebook and just asked them, you know, why, you know, when do you guys open? Because I thought it was something to do with the whole COVID-19 situation. They were like, oh no, sorry, there was a mix-up in the schedules, and they sent me a 15, I think was it €15 voucher to spend in the in their online shop. I never used it actually because I wasn't in Estonia for long enough to kind of order the beers and stuff like that. But I have to say it was just awesome customer service from these guys that they would do something like that. Yeah, just, you know, I just wrote to them and asked them and said I turned up at the brewery but it was closed. So yeah, it was really cool of them to to do that. So, you know, kudos, well done to Sori Brewing for the customer service there. That was awesome. So, yeah, as I say, it seems like these guys are a very, very nice brewery. Hopefully the next time I go to Tallinn I can go in and have a little look at the brewery and stuff. Maybe I can feature these guys on a Meet the Brewery segment. That would be these guys have got a pretty interesting story, so I'm sure if I was able to review Piri or Heike, that would be a really interesting one for a Meet the Brewery segment. So yeah, as I say, these guys are fairly well known throughout Europe these days, and they do have a very good reputation, so definitely cool to finally feature these guys for you here on the channel. So yeah, that's all I can really tell you about Sori Brewing for the moment. If you want to learn more, of course, you can check out the brewery website. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on, and you can check out the Rate Beer, Untappd and Beer Advocate pages to learn more about all the different beers that these guys have done. So yeah, let's get on and have a little look at the artwork on this one before we open it up. So as you can see, this can is definitely, this is Seven Islands artwork all the way, or Seven Island, I keep saying Seven Islands rather than Seven Island, but yeah, the artwork of this one is very, very nice. There you can see the brewery symbols. There is Seven Island Brewery. Of course, you'll get this line on the Regulus, which is their double IPA, and there underneath you can see Sori Brewing symbol. There you are, Cape Hope. You can see the can got a little bit of a dent, it got a little bit dented when I was bringing it back on the plane, but the beer is very much still intact in this one. But yeah, 8.3% New England double IPA, this one, double dry hopped, of course, forgot to mention that earlier. So yeah, it should still be in good condition. This one is a 440ml can. I think I paid about €8.50 for this, so a bit more expensive actually than I would pay for the New England doubles here in Sweden, but that's one of the great things about Systembolaget, is it does keep the prices of the craft beer down actually. So yeah, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting. But yeah, as I said, I bought this beer in Kot, which is right in the old town of Tallinn. Lovely little beer shop. The owner, as I said, she's very, very knowledgeable when it comes to craft beers, and then they've got the bar that opens at 5 PM out the back of the shop. The shop is, you know, it's very, very small. I mean, it must only be like 9 or 10 square meters or something like that, and very, very small shop, but they've got a cracking selection of things that are from all across Europe. It was very hot when I was in there, though actually. That was the only thing I would say about it was very, very hot when I was in the shop. But yeah, so definitely go and check out Kot and the bar behind it actually. But yeah, as you can see, this beer has poured kind of as you would expect of a New England double. It poured with about a quarter finger of a frothy, I would say cream coloured head. That's just faded away to be a very, very kind of thin foamy layer. If you put the light through it, it pours, it's like a kind of peach juice colour, this one. It really is a very kind of peachy juice colour, this beer. There's one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones going up towards the bottom of the head there, but as you can see, if I put my fingers behind this glass, it is pretty damn hazy actually. I like how I do like how this one goes together. It looks very, very nice, and pretty much what you would expect from a New England double IPA these days, a kind of peach juicy colour, this one. So yeah, you will get ones that are lighter, you will get ones that are a bit darker or more orangey than this. But yeah, nothing surprising about this one in terms of its appearance when you think about the style, but let's have a look at the aroma then and just see how we get on. But yeah, that smells really pretty nice, I have to say. It does smell really good. So straight away with this one, on the malty side of things, you can smell this has got a good blend of both wheat and oats in it. The wheat actually does have a little bit of pungency to it, I have to say. So you can get a little bit of that kind of spiciness out of the wheat, but you can smell the really nice smoothness in there as well. There's a big creamy oaty character to this one. It does have a little bit of that kind of there is a wee bit of that kind of Werther's Originally type flavour, type aroma out of this one, sorry, as well. Just that gives the beer a little bit of the sweetness and covers up the boozy side of things. But yeah, the aroma of this beer, I think, is very, very nice. I like the malty side of it. I like that it's got a bit of prominence to it. When you have a double IPA, I've had ones that are very, very easy going and very easy to drink. I have to admit, when it's a double IPA, I like you to know it's a double IPA. I do like it to have a bit of a malty kind of boozy kick to it in the background. And yeah, 8.3%. This one should be pretty interesting. I've said in a few reviews, you know, I've always felt that with the New Englands, when you go above 8%, you do need to add a kind of sweetening malt to this one. You know, you need to add a bit of Carapils or a bit of Cara malt, Cara Munich, something like that. You do need to add one of these slightly brown sugary malts to it to cover up the booziness, because it's very difficult to do that only with oats and wheat. But yeah, the aroma that comes out of this beer is very, very nice actually. So yeah, the malty side of it is pretty spot on. I would say it leans a bit more towards the wheaty side of things. It's got a nice boozy little kick to it. You get the oaty creaminess, and you also get a bit of that kind of sweeter Werther's Originally type vibe out of the beer. So yeah, this one I think comes across very, very nicely. On the hoppy side of things, this one's got a lovely bit of dankness and stuff to it. So you get a little touch of earthiness at the back of the nose, but there's a lot of big spicy floral aromaticity coming out of this one. There's some nice grassy notes to it as well, but the green side of the hops overwhelmingly lean towards a kind of spicy, kind of floral and grassy side of things actually. I really, really like that about this beer. So yeah, the aroma of this one, I have to say, is very, very nice. So yeah, the hoppy side of things is really good on this one. I do like it. So yeah, straight away with this beer, you get a very nice, you do get a really, really nice, how do you say, you get a nice kind of darker tropical fruit note out of this one. I'm not sure exactly what hops would be in this one. I mean, maybe Galaxy is in this one, because it's got quite a pungent passion fruity note to it, but it's also got a bit more complexity to it than that. So yeah, you do get a nice little bit of, there's a nice little bit of a stronger passion fruity note to this one, maybe a wee tiny touch of grapefruit. I've got a feeling there might be a bit of citra in this one, because there is a good bit of a mango quality there as well. Yeah, I want to say passion fruit, mango. You do have some of the softer tropical fruits in here as well, so you might have something along the lines of like Idaho 7 or Victoria's Secret. You know, you might have something like that in this beer as well, but citra is going to give you a lot of complexity on its own. And we know that these guys, you know, Seven Island, know what they're doing with citra, so I wouldn't be surprised if there is citra in this one. So yeah, you've got a nice little bit, as I say, there's a good bit of passion fruit to this one for me. There's some juicy mango in it. It's got a few softer kind of tropical notes as well, you know, the sort of apricot-y papaya type notes that quite often you'll get from these beers. I want to say there's like a little bit of, one of the things that really makes me think citra with this beer is that there is a wee bit of gooseberry-ish. There is a wee bit of a kind of white grapey gooseberry type note. There's a few things that could be, of course. It could be, you know, it could be Hallertau Blanc from Germany. It could be a bit of Nelson Sauvin, and some of the spicy notes that you get out of this could suggest Nelson Sauvin, because Nelson Sauvin is a big spicy beast, but quite often people don't associate it with that because it's used later in the boil. And that means that there's not quite as much bitterness from it. It's more about flavour and aroma when you add it in the last half hour of the boil, as opposed to the you know, early on. So yeah, there is a wee bit of a kind of white grapey, gooseberry-ish type note out of this one. But yeah, the aroma of this beer, I have to say, is lovely. It could be Enigma. The other thing could be Enigma, but I don't get the kind of red fruity notes that you would normally get from Enigma out of this one. But yeah, there is a good bit of a gooseberry kind of note to it, almost a little bit lychee-like in some ways, but yeah, it's got a lovely kind of big note to this one. The more and more I smell this, the more kind of passion fruity and mango leaning it becomes. So I do think maybe Galaxy and Citra in this one. I think those two, you know, there's a few other things that it could be Galaxy, but I'm pretty sure there's Citra in this one, I have to say. But yeah, it comes across really quite nice. I don't get so much in the way of an orangey element out of this one. You know, there could have been a bit of mosaic or something, but nah, don't really get so much of that. Always like playing Guess the Hops with these beers, of course. It's always a kind of quite fun thing. So yeah, let's have a little look at this one then and see how it got on. Take a bit of time to enjoy the aroma of it before you get stuck in. But let's have a taste of this beer now. So this one is the Cape Hope, a New England double IPA coming in at 8.3%, brewed at the Seven Island Brewery in Corfu in Greece, brewed in collaboration with Sori Brewing, founded by Finnish dudes based in Tallinn in Estonia. Let's get stuck into this one. So Slanja, Skål, Yamas, Kipis and Tervisex. Let's get stuck in. Oh yeah, yeah. That's nice. That is good. Yeah, this beer This one really is pretty well done. Is there a lot of sediment there? No, we've got most of the sediment in. But that's what you want with the New Englands. You do want the sediment in the actual beer because it gives it a lovely kind of thick mouthfeel. But yeah, this one is really quite nice, I have to say. But yeah, like I said, I've said in other videos, the Greek beer scene, in my experience, is very, very strong. You've got Seven Islands, you've got Nocturne, Septem, Solo. I'm trying to think who else I had. There was another really good brewery based in Athens who had a very good name, who had a you know, a very English name. But you know, I think there is a bit of an unwritten rule in Europe that the wine producing countries, they tend to be very, very good when it comes to producing beer. You know, the French beers that I've had have been excellent. The Spanish beers, the Italians are doing some really interesting stuff. Slovenia as well has some really good beers, and then the Greek beers were really, really good when I was down there. So yeah. And the Greeks are great, actually, very, very nice people in my experience. So I've got two very, very good friends from Greece, both of them from Thessaloniki actually. So yeah, I do need to get back to Greece. I'm actually hoping to get back to Greece next year. So hopefully I can pick up and review a few more of the Greek beers for you. That would be awesome to do. But yeah, Seven Island Brewery, probably the best known Greek craft brewery outside of Greece these days. But yeah, this is another lovely, lovely beer from these guys. So let's try and break the flavour of this one down then. Straight away with this beer, you'll get a nice kind of white bready base just forming the backbone of the beer. If you go towards the back third of your palate, you can feel the nice slightly thicker wheaty notes out of the beer. It does have almost a little bit of spice and graininess on the back third of your palate, but then as you move into the middle third of your tongue, you can feel it's a little bit lighter and a little bit more kind of bready, if that makes sense. Towards the front half of that middle third of your tongue, it's got a little bit more of the kind of thicker, oaty creaminess to this one. One thing I will say about this beer is that you can feel a little bit of the dustiness from it. It does have a little bit of a kind of dusty quality to it, and that's the dry hopping that that does that actually. Yeah, the dry hopping. So when you can still get a little bit of it, but it has kind of died down and mellowed out a little bit actually, and it comes across really nicely. We're just getting this one in the States. I've always felt that with dry hopped beers, I've always felt with New Englands generally, you need to leave them in the can for about 10 days just to sort of mellow out a little bit more than that when it comes to the dry hopping, because if you have these too early, they just, you know, they come across as very dusty and just green in my experience. So I've always felt that you need to just let these beers mellow out a little bit. The problem you never really had with the West Coast IPAs, actually, at least I found. But yeah, I'm getting this one, you know, in its prime actually. It comes across really nicely at the moment. So yeah, the malt base in this one is good. In the middle of your palate you do get a little bit of that Werther's Originally type flavour that I was talking about, which is really quite nice. It's you know, it's how do you say, it's just a little bit of a kind of oily thing. It does give the beer a really nice, it does cover up the boozy backbone quite nicely actually. I like how that goes together in this one. But the malt base is very straight shooting. The wheat is thick, is you know, quite thick, a little bit spicy. The oats are nice and thick and creamy. You get a little bit of the kind of more pale malty quality in the middle of the palate too, and then the sort of Werther's Originally type flavour sitting on top of that. But I would say that kind of Werther's Original type slightly brown sugary flavour that's in there, it's not the biggest and oiliest that you're going to come across in this style bracket, if you like. It's quite nice. This beer does lean a little bit more towards the smooth, bready type side of things. But yeah, on the hoppy side of things then, back corners of the palate, there is a little bit of earthiness out of this one, but very quickly that converts to be a more kind of big, spicy, floral aromaticity, and that's the main thing that kind of lingers with this beer the further you go into the aftertaste. It does have a little bit of dankness to it underneath. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of like Chinook or something. I don't think it's Columbus. I don't think it's quite spicy enough to be Columbus actually. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of Chinook has been used in this one for bittering hop, because it's got a lovely big dankness to it, this beer. It's definitely a bit more bitter than you'll get from some New Englands at least, but then around the very front curve of the palate it's a little bit lighter and more grassy, and then behind the front curve of the tongue, front third of your palate, that's where you'll get the That's where you'll get the nice big kind of fruity elements coming out of the beer. And yeah, the fruits in this one are really nice. You've got a combination of oiliness and juiciness to them, but we'll talk about the mouthfeel later. So yeah, if you go towards the back of that front third of your tongue, there's a nice bit of, there is a wee touch of grapefruit to this one, and that kind of backs up what I was thinking about the, you know, there being a bit of Chinook or something in this. But yeah, as you come further forward from that, it becomes a more kind of passion fruity flavour. I do wonder if there is Galaxy in this. I really do wonder if there is a good bit of Galaxy in here, because the passion fruit flavours are very, very pungent, and that's what I always remember Galaxy being like. I've actually not had a beer with Galaxy in it for quite a wee while, as far as I can remember. A lot of breweries have been using Simcoe again, and using you know, Victoria's Secret as well, which are a little bit softer in terms of the flavours. But yeah, I know that these guys, I know that Seven Island do like a bit of Galaxy. But yeah, as you come further forward from that, you get the passion fruity notes, then you start to get a juicier mango. You do get a wee touch of a lighter kind of papaya, apricot-y kind of note, and then as you reach the very front tip of the tongue, it does have a little bit of a kind of, there's a wee tiny bit of a sort of orangey vibe to it, but you also get some, you do get a little bit of a gooseberry, kind of white grapey kind of note coming out of the beer as well, and I do like how that goes together. That's one of the complexities you can get from Citra, of course, but I don't know. It does. I mean, there is something that is making me wonder, is there a bit of Nelson Sauvin in here? I'm not sure. Nelson Sauvin is a beautiful hop, I love it actually. It's definitely not Enigma. Enigma would have a bit more kind of red fruitiness to it than this. Enigma's a really nice Australian hop that's kind of up and coming, but yeah, this beer I think is really nice done. It gets a massive thumbs up from me. But both of these breweries, I mean, Seven Island I know are very capable in the IPA bracket. This is the first New England IPA I've had from them. The other two were West Coasters, but Sori Brewing do carry a very good reputation as well. So it's not surprising that when these guys have come together, they've produced something that's pretty damn good. But yeah, there is a wee bit of that kind of, I think a little bit of a kind of gooseberryish, white green grapey flavour on the very tip of the tongue there. On the very kind of front edge of the palate, there is a wee bit of a kind of grassy, sort of zesty quality coming out of the beer as well, which is really nice. So I mean, this beer gets a big thumbs up from me. I really like how Seven Island and Sori have pulled off this one. I think they've done a very, very nice job of it actually. So yeah, check out this one if you get the chance. It's definitely a very kind of pungenty, dark, tropically leaning New England IPA in my mind. I really like that about it. It's got some of the stronger, more pungent tropical fruit flavours, but it also has some of the softer and lighter, more juicy fruity characters to it as well, and it's got a nice wee bit of bitterness also. So yeah, I think I've got a feeling it's Galaxy and Citra. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of Chinook in this one as well. There could maybe be a wee bit of Nelson Sauvin, but I'm reluctant to say, you know, I would be reluctant to kind of commit to that, to be honest with you. But yeah, really, really nice New England double from this one. Not a surprise when you consider the breweries involved here. But yeah, in terms of the mouthfeel then, what would we say about this? Yeah, this one would be, I would say that this one is, it's actually top end of mid body, bottom end of full body. It does feel like quite a thick beer like this one, to be honest. Carbonation is very smooth. The beer does have a little bit of an oily wetness to it at the same time, but behind that it is really quite thick. But you know, it's one of the things you have to think about if this beer is, you know, it's from a Greek brewery. It's very, very hot down there, of course. They do want their beers to have a bit of a kind of refreshing element to them, so you are going to get a bit of wetness to the mouthfeel of this. And I remember, I think I said the same actually about the Citra Blast and the Regulus that I had from Seven Island before. When you go to the south of Europe, you are going to get a bit more wetness and sometimes crispness in the mouthfeel to these beers, and that's completely understandable. But yeah, the mouthfeel of this one is really quite nice, very smooth and quite wet and very slightly oily as well actually. But in terms of hoppy bitterness, I think this one's got to be about 50 IBUs. I think it's kind of sitting around the 50 IBU mark. It does have a little bit of dankness, as I said to you, and a little bit of spiciness from the floral notes. The malt base, like I said, is very, very smooth in this one. It does get a little bit drier. You will notice the further into the aftertaste you go that it does get slightly drier. in the middle of your palate too, but you've also got a very nice kind of big, juicy, fruity character to this one. But the beer, I think, the further you go into the aftertaste, I find this one really becomes more kind of smooth and wheaty and bready. It's really that lingers into the aftertaste, along with a bit of that more pungent, kind of passion fruity flavour that the beer has. But yeah, as I said, I think this is a really, really nicely done New England double IPA when you consider the breweries involved here. It's not a surprise. So yeah, very, very nice to return to Seven Island Brewery again after a while. I do wish I had, you know, easier access to both this brewery and the other Greek breweries, because there really is some great craft beers down in Greece in my experience. Sori Brewing, this is my first encounter with them, and I know they carry a good reputation, so I'm definitely looking forward to doing my first dedicated review to these guys now. But yeah, beautiful New England IPA, this one I think really quite nicely done. I do like the kind of bigger bitterness that the beer has. I have been missing the kind of more bitter West Coasty type IPAs, so I think this one is a fairly good compromise in that regard. But yeah, thumbs up to both Seven Island Brewery and Sori Brewing for this one. The Cape Hope New England Double IPA, 8.3%. I think they've pulled off a really, really nice beer here. So yeah, hopefully I can review more from Seven Island at some point. They've got a couple of IPAs, I think it was Galaxy Child and the Foggy Island. I'd love to have a go at those. And they've also got an Imperial Stout now that is supposed to be really nice. They didn't have that before when I first reviewed the other beers from them. I'd love to have a go at some of those, but I don't know how I would get a hold of them anyway. But yeah, Sori Brewing, as I said, you will see another review from these guys fairly soon, within the next month or so. And yeah, as I say, I will hopefully be making it to Greece sometime next year on my way out east, because there's, you know, very good flights from Athens to Singapore, so we'll see about that. I do want to get to Greece again and visit my friend Georgios and my friend Emmanuel as well, so maybe you'll see them on a YouTube video at some point soon. But yeah, very, very interesting combination of breweries, this one, and they've produced a very nice beer together, so let's leave it at that. This one was the Cape Hope, a New England double IPA, 8.3%, brewed at the Seven Island Brewery in Corfu in Greece, in collaboration with Sori Brewing, who are based in Tallinn in Estonia, but founded by Finnish guys. Thank you again for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are, both from Seven Island Brewery and from Sori Brewing. Let me know some other breweries from Greece and from Estonia and Finland, and you will see more reviews from all three of these countries at some point over the next little while. But yeah, thank you again for watching my reviews, and I will catch you guys soon. Make sure you check out this beer, make sure you check out all the breweries, check out my social media, and I will catch you guys later. The Cape Hope New England Double IPA from Seven Island and Sori. Slanja, Skol, Kipis, Yamas, Terbisex. Cheers.